In The Legend of Zelda, I see King Arthur. Most believe Arthur was not a historical figure, but a recurring fixture in Welsh folklore. As the story passed from one person to another, details changed. Concepts and characters were added or subtracted over the years by storytellers of many backgrounds, until we arrived at the King Arthur we know today. There is no canonical text for this legend. Such is its transient nature. What we remember is the sword stuck in the stone, the tragic betrayal of friend and lover, the wise wizard who shepherds the rightful king. It is a story retold throughout history, molding itself to the shape of each era. A warrior clad in green named Link must find the Triforce of Wisdom, which lay in fragments of 8, thanks to Princess Zelda. This Triforce is the only thing that can defeat the Prince of Darkness, Ganon, and his Triforce of Power. You travel Hyrule in search of these pieces, defeat Ganon, and save the princess. This is where The Legend of Zelda began. But when I was younger, this context did not exist. For me, The Legend of Zelda started as a seafaring adventure starring a young boy clad in green. With his talking boat, he sailed the blue expanse in search of his sister, only to discover a long-forgotten kingdom and fell its long-forgotten evil. It's a story about Link, about the Triforce, about Zelda, and about Ganon. It is The Legend of Zelda, retold for a new generation. Everyone has their Legend of Zelda. Be that a hero who traverses time, one caught in a world-ending cycle, or one trapped between light and dark. Details shift, characters come and go, but they all share something unspeakable which binds them together. That indescribable thread is not a timeline. It is not canonicity. It is not continuity. It is storytelling. What is the Zelda timeline? Once, it was a collection of theories passed between friends and forums, an exercise born of passion. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, is commonly agreed to take place after the events of the NES original. From there, it gets a little more complicated. A Link to the Past tells of an omniscient and omnipotent golden power that resides in a hidden land. Wars were fought over this power before it was sealed by 7 wise men. The sorcerer Aghanim kidnaps the princess, and a hero must set out to save her from the Prince of Darkness, Ganon. Haven't we heard this story before? Is A Link to the Past a narrative sequel to Zelda 2? Before you consult the wiki, pretend that nothing else exists besides these 3 games and their instruction manuals, as was once the case. A Link to the Past takes place in Hyrule, has a Triforce, has a princess named Zelda, and a hero named Link. Functionally, its story is identical to the canon text. It could take place after or before, but that's not the point of what it is doing. Its manual describes the legend of the Golden Power, how scrolls were passed down with stories of events long past that have either changed over the course of history or have been lost to time. Nobody knows where the Golden Power rests, nor do they know what Ganon wished for after he allegedly found it. Everyone has their own interpretation. According to its manual, Link's awakening takes place after you fulfill the Hyrulean prophecy of the legendary hero and defeat the tyrant Ganon. Which game is that following up? Zelda 1 or A Link to the Past? Those 2 stories are so similar that it's tough to draw a definite conclusion. Remove yourself from time entirely, and this could be the follow-up to any story where the hero of Hyrule defeats Ganon. Is it after the Oracle games? Some fans believe that. So people wondered, Ocarina of Time came out and people wondered, are Majora's Mask and Wind Waker both sequels? Then where does Twilight Princess fall? What about the Minish Cap? The beauty of this discussion was that no one had the answer. People interpreted the connections. They drew their own conclusions based on their experiences. That was until Nintendo stepped in. In 2011, the Hyrule Historia was published. Inside was art and production notes from various Zelda games. It's a neat book that just so happened to contain a nuclear bomb, an official Zelda timeline. It's shifted a little over the years, but its structure remains untouched. Ocarina of Time acts as a tree from which every game branches off. A child timeline, an adult timeline, and a timeline where the player fails to defeat Ganon. Many fans did not like this answer, and I don't blame them. 3 timeline branches is messy, especially considering one of them is predicated on the player quitting. At that point, there should be a branching timeline in every game. While these deficiencies strike me as obvious, I suspect there's a deeper reason fans are frustrated with this timeline. Consider, what does Twilight Princess gain from being a 200-year follow-up to Ocarina of Time? The guy who teaches you moves is the hero of time. Ganondorf is the same character. The sages who imprisoned him are from Ocarina of Time. Or are they? The sages are intentionally disguised. Can anyone readily say that these are the same characters? Hyrule Castle has apparently moved. Hyrule itself has undergone a radical shift in topography, and the Temple of Time is hidden within a now colossal forest. You can offer up reasonable explanations for why so much has changed. Anyone could. That's not what I'm getting at. When you're playing Twilight Princess, none of that matters. You're dealing with previously unmentioned Twilight interlopers, Yeti monsters living in a haunted mansion, and freaky birds that live in the sky. When I played Ocarina of Time later in life, I did not pick up on any of these connections, despite Twilight Princess being one of my most played Zelda games. Tiny clues like the blink and you miss it photo that you can find in the fishing hole proves that they're connected. There must be a timeline. Yet those threads are as superfluous in practice as the continuity Easter eggs in Pixar films. Are Toy Story and Ratatouille in the same universe? I guess so. Evidence exists to suggest that it is true, but that's always where the conversation ends. The Minish Cap and Four Swords take place in a nebulous zone after Skyward Sword. Despite the lengths that game goes to have the player forge the iconic Master Sword, the very next game introduces some other random sword that, come Ocarina of Time, vanishes from the face of Hyrule. I like that this version of Hyrule is different, with its own villain and sword. It does not connect to these other games in a way that matters. It builds its own mythos by switching up familiar concepts. Alas, we must perform the charade anyway. I'm not interested in the explanations one could throw at me in order to connect these games. Fans have ripped this official explanation to shreds, suggesting different placements for the Four Sword games, as well as the removal of the Downfall timeline entirely. Perhaps these changes would fix the inconsistencies. They would not satiate me. Even if we had an infallible timeline, it does not meaningfully change how I experience any of these games. Was Ocarina of Time required playing for me to find meaning in the Wind Waker, given that it directly references the hero of time? No. It does not matter which version of Hyrule or Link or Ganon or Zelda that it refers back to. What matters is what the Wind Waker suggests about these vague connections. Link is uncomfortable with the idea of wearing the green tunic. Tetra's autonomy is erased when it's revealed that she is meant to be Princess Zelda. Ganondorf's stated goal is to flush away the present in exchange for a past he longs to revive. Its denouement? To bury Hyrule under the Great Sea, to reverse Tetra's transformation, to embrace the endless ocean teeming with possibility. Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks are connected to the Wind Waker, but they do not call back to it. That they take place after it might as well be an irrelevant tidbit. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, is not an irrelevant tidbit. It is billed as the true story behind the imprisoning war that Tears of the Kingdom only gave us small glimpses into. A canon story. Every review mentions this. Nintendo focused on this detail in marketing. This is supposed to matter. Much attention is paid to Zelda, Rauru, Sonia, and the rest. At times, it feels like the only reason this game exists is to fill in the gaps left by Tears of the Kingdom. It answers vital questions like, where was Rauru when Ganondorf killed Sonia? A question that surely needed an answer in the form of a pointless mission where you run up and down a hill. Why didn't Zelda warn them about Ganondorf? There's a scene dedicated to that too, where Zelda all but confirms Ganondorf is evil and alive in the future. Sonia warns her not to mess with the future, even though anyone could tell what Zelda was about to claim. Is this what it looks like to be canon? To give pointless answers to pointless questions? To fight in battles that don't matter in service to characters who don't change? All for the sake of performing consistency? I find it telling that the most engaging part of this story concerns a set of characters that were never mentioned in Tears of the Kingdom. Calamo, the Construct, and their band of faceless soldiers hold so much more thematic potential than any of the main players. Calamo wants to find a place to put down his roots, away from any ongoing crises. The Construct is the only reason he finds himself in life or death battles, and that forces him to grow. Though he thinks of himself as weak, his presence on the battlefield inspires other soldiers who struggle with their confidence. They are oddballs in this war, not deemed important enough to include within Zelda's Dragon Tier memories. I found myself wishing we had more space for this band of nobodies. Calamo's journey to become a hero might as well make him another Link. He's another version of the hero clad in green who wields the blade of evil's bane. It might look more like an homage to Star Fox this time around, but that's the type of story I'm looking for in Zelda as a legend. Details shift, but the spirit remains. An unlikely hero rises to meet a threat greater than themselves, rallying a force of forgotten foot soldiers to win the battles the top dogs could not. Calamo gets to put down his roots only after he safeguards the earth Ganondorf sought to poison. It should be a story about finding your place in a cataclysmic world of war. It should be a story about how everyone, no matter how forgotten, plays an important role in defeating evil. Ultimately, it becomes a footnote in its attempts to make up for whatever perceived shortcomings its parent game had. It lives in service to an idea deemed more important than itself, and mark my words, it will be forgotten. In an age where we attempt to chronicle entire worlds within wiki pages, have we not lost the magic of storytelling? As we search high and low for references and connections, we're all trapped in our own lost woods, missing the forest for the trees. We are prisoners of intent. Aonuma and the rest have established that a timeline exists, so we must accept it as gospel. If your perspective challenges that authority, it is wrong. Your experience is invalid. Sorry. There are rules we all must follow, even though video games are defined by choice. How do you decide which choices are canon in a game as free as Breath of the Wild? Here's a game where you can ignore 99% of it. What if you woke up, got the paraglider, and flew straight to Hyrule Castle? What if you never visited Kakariko Village? Are those unlikely decisions? Maybe. But someone made them. That is the Breath of the Wild someone has played. What if you never bought a house? You would never have done the Terrytown side quest. Yet, in the sequel, Hudson and his wife remember you helping to build it. Tears of the Kingdom is a sequel to one of the nigh-infinite timeline branches produced by Breath of the Wild's radical approach to freedom. If we take that to be true, in the same way that we have 3 branches for Ocarina of Time, how can we know anything about continuity or canon? In the same way that we both might come away from reading Frankenstein with a different image of the titular monster, we would play any given Pokemon game with a different team based on our interests. To provide a canon answer is to rob us of our individuality. These frustrations aren't exclusive to Zelda. This compulsion to connect everything rather than continue the conversation. Pokemon Legends ZA sacrifices almost all of its thematic potential in order to wrap up plot threads from X and Y. Metroid Prime 4 cannot escape Sylux, even if everything about it wants nothing to do with him. We must make good on the promise made over a decade ago. To what end? It's like everything that comes out must fit into a larger puzzle. Are we really playing these games anymore? Are we letting them sit with us? Or are we just dropping in to make sure they check all the boxes? It's a worrying mindset because it's not exclusive to stories. It bleeds into our expectations of how a game plays. What is its structure? Should we deviate from that? Is that even allowed? That's why I'm so adamant in refusing the Zelda timeline. An impulse rests deep within me, as if I'm expected to care about this thing. I don't care. I'll never care. More than anything, I'd like to continue playing Zelda games without needing to care. I'm not expecting to change many minds today. It's hard not to feel like I'm screaming into the void. Maybe I can put in a tiny request, though. Sit down with your favorite Zelda game and let it wash over you. How does it make you feel? Why does it make you feel that way? Don't look up interviews or pore over wiki pages. How does playing it affect you? Truly ask yourself if a timeline matters to that playthrough. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I know where I stand. We have to start drawing our own lines. We can't let others do it for us. We need to have faith in ourselves. Though the guiding light of consensus is warm, it is ultimately a distraction. Hollow Knight Silksong's a game I think speaks about the intricacies of faith as it's been practiced over the years by Catholicism, Protestantism, and humanism. I have a video exploring how Hornet performs her pilgrimage and the truths it leads her to in a land mired in purposeless faith. It is part of a show I've created called Masterful Mimicry. This show's dedicated to exploring the intersection between inspiration and interactivity in video games. This episode, titled Hollow Knight Silksong Requires Faith, discusses Catholicism, corruption, and community in one of 2025's biggest games. You can watch this along with an episode on Okami's Celestial Brush, exclusively on Nebula. Nebula's dedicated to producing original works just like this. It's a streaming service with incredible exclusive videos on games, movies, television, history, and philosophy. Free of disruptive ads, the site's thoughtfully curated and very comfy. It's provided me with a space to stretch my creative legs and write something a little out of my comfort zone. With my link, you can get 50% off Nebula. It's just $30 a year, $2.50 a month, or one payment of $300 lifetime, a $200 discount at go.nebula.tv/KingK. That's 40% off for access to Nebula for life. Nebula also offers lifetime gift cards if you're interested in gifting Nebula to friends and family during the holidays. If you're not quite sure you want to commit, there's a 3-day free trial. Nebula members can also give out guest passes to check out the site, no payment info required. Use my link in the description to get 50% off Nebula and access to the Hollow Knight Silksong episode of Masterful Mimicry.